Welcome to Big Pick 4, the NFL game picking show, where Big Danny D and Big Brian B give you the best 4 picks for NFL Sunday games, to include the guaranteed picks, the Big Danny D guarantee and Big Brian B guarantee, coming off yet another 2-4 week.
2 out of 4.
That's what I said. Listen. Don't you listen?
You're supposed to be the math magician here, too.
That's what I meant. Bringing us to our overall record of 4-12. Oh shit! I have on the screen here that that Big D has 10 pushes. I was trying to type in 0. My bad.
I thought we had 5 wins.
Yeah, we have 5.
We have 5. We're 5-11, aren't we?
Right.
0-4, 1-3, 2-2, 2.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. Okay, 5-11. All right, I'll redo this. Okay, 5-11. On the guarantees, you're 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we are for the season.
I don't care about the guarantees anyway.
Yeah. until you start winning on the.
Yeah, this is Big Pick 4, Brian, not Big Pick 2.
That's right, baby. Big Pick 2. It's a new show. It's a branch off. What is that called?
Is that starring your gut?
Right, starts in my gut.
To recap last week, we were looking real good going into the afternoon and the evening games at 2-0, and then all hell broke loose with big upsets with the Vikings and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What say you?
Well, let's see.
Saints just got their ass kicked.
Well, yeah, they got their ass kicked, and Atlanta just sucks on the defense.
You know, their defense, they have the worst defense in the league.
Man.
I looked up today, they have the 32nd ranked total defense in the
They
league.
were awful. They had 41 points to the stupid Vikings.
They were 5-7 yards Vikings.
Vikings offense, I think, 2 weeks
Yeah.
awful. And what was the other? And the other one, the Saints just didn't. They was coaching that team that night. Good at show game. At least there was at least 2 of those a year.
Yeah.
Like right before no show game and maybe in the middle of the season. But
I'm not ready to anoint the Cowboys yet. Everyone's sucking them off this week. They can all go to fucking hell.
I
The
know.
Cowboys are great.
That's like, you know what? Those are the same idiots that were burying the Giants 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
The same morons. Oh, the Giants are dead. It's got a fork. No, the Giants could be 3-2 after Sunday, and they're right back in it. So these people are all idiots.
Everybody loves to suck off the Cowboys anyway, though. They're great no matter what they do.
I guess, even though they've been they're over the last 16 years they're 500.
Yeah.
Well, that's not too good. With one playoff appearance.
I give Jerry Jones credit, man. He knows how to sell a team. He's a good marketer.
Yeah, I guess so, but he doesn't know how to do anything else. He doesn't know how to be president of the team. He doesn't know how to be general manager of the team. He doesn't know how to draft a team. The team's been awful ever since he took over. I mean, once he got rid of the hierarchy of a team, the team president, the general manager, and all those people, after they won their 3rd Super Bowl, he just got rid of everybody. They've sucked ever since.
And this year,
it's all his fault.
And didn't he guarantee playoffs this year?
Yeah, something like that. He's ridiculous.
So trying to make better on 5-11 on the season, trying to continue the streak with both guarantees coming through for 2 weeks in a row, bringing them to 2-2 on the guarantees.
And Dan riding that love train.
That's right. My Colts, baby.
That's it. That's your boy.
That's right. 2 blowouts in a row.
Blocked what?
No, they had 2 blowout victories in a row.
Oh, I thought it said blocks. 2 blocks in a row.
No, two blocks this way, and then 2 blowouts in a row against the 2 of the worst teams in the league, and the Titans and the Jaguars.
Every time you bet on them, it's going to be a blowout too.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I know they start 0-2, but with that division and their schedule, I think they have a chance to win a lot of games.
So we're waiting with bated breath to see if he will ride that love train yet again this week. So let's have the first combined pick for Week 5 NFL, Danny D.
All right, our first combined pick is Pittsburgh at our best friends Jacksonville. Thank you, Jacksonville. Pittsburgh is favored by 6 points on the road. As I mentioned several times last week, Jacksonville gets outscored by an average of 39-12. Last week's score was almost that exactly. They lost 33-14 to the Chargers. The Steelers are coming off a horribly embarrassing loss at home to Tampa Bay in an awful display of defense and special teams. Mike Tomlin made his angry face after the game to scare everybody. But this is a Jaguars. I mean, come on. So I expect Pittsburgh to win this game by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. I mean, I understand they didn't play well. I know all that stuff, but I was watching part of that Jacksonville-San Diego game last week, and Jacksonville structured poorly. They just took out another safety, but they signed a guy on the offseason named Red Bryant to be a defensive end. The guy weighs about 340 pounds, so I don't know how the hell he could be a defensive end. And he gets sort of big. He should be a tackle, so because they can pass. They stink. Blake Bortles fast, and Lewis is out. Keith Lee is out. Too short. Toby Gerhardt plays like a girl with one leg. I mean, I think he has the lowest yards per carry average in the league. He's awful. He has like 80 carries for like 12 yards.
Worse than Shady.
Yes, he's the worst. If it wasn't for him, McCoy would be running that. But anyway, besides all that nonsense, I think Pittsburgh's going to win, as I said, by 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game because Jacksonville just blows. So.
We will now have our combined pick number 2 from Brian B.
Again, you gotta talk into the microphone.
All right, the combined pick for week 5. We're going to take Cincinnati. It's -1, right? -1?
Can't you see?
Well, you got to check there. Oh, anyway, -1. They're playing at
Cincinnati is -1.
-1 at New England.
Brian can't read.
That's got nothing to do with the pick. I don't think the fans care. Anyway, basically, I don't know if you've been following football this week, but they've been killing Tom Brady. His offensive line is awful. He has no time to throw the ball. He has no weapons.
His receivers stink.
His receivers stink. Gronkowski's not 100%. You can tell watching him.
They can't run the ball.
They can't run the ball. The defense is okay, but the defense has had to play really well because the offense is so bad. The offense is
diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass.
That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. But a lot of 3 and outs. I mean, you can just tell they had a lot of turnovers last week. Their offense is pretty much inept, and the Cincinnati Bengals have a top 5 defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because Cincinnati's playing away. Cincinnati's not as good away, but I think it's going to be close. But I think the Bengals are going to win like 17-14, something like that.
20. I think it's going to be like 28-22.
Diddly poo offensively.
Well, me and Dan can disagree on the score as long as they cover. All that matters
generally,
is
but
that,
most NFL games are not 17-14 anymore.
Well, I just think I'm saying I think that the Bengals are going to struggle a little bit on the road, but I think that the Patriots aren't going to do anything offensively. I'm just saying I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be close.
I know, but you have to be relative in terms of your low scoring.
Fine, 2017 is that better for you, Dan?
No, like 27-21 is low scoring today.
Well, I'm saying 2017.
I think that's too low.
Anyway, for all those reasons, basically, I think Brady's over the hill. I think he's past his prime. And the New England offensive line, like I said, is terrible. And then Cincinnati's playing great. They're coming off a bye. So I think it's a low spread. So I think for all those reasons, I think you should put your money. I'm feeling pretty good about this pick. I think this might be. Well, no, we've had one combined. How many combines have we had?
I don't know, one.
This will be our second combined. I think this will be our second. I'm feeling good about this.
We've had one combined win, which is New England.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good about this one. I think this could be.
So now you're betting against New
The
England.
Patriots' defense has been awful. Cincinnati could run the football, so I think it's going to be a scoring game. I mean, I think Cincinnati could win like 31-17
Well,
here.
like I said to the viewers, it doesn't. We can disagree on the score as long as they cover.
Because
that's all that matters.
for several
When
reasons.
you're betting for.
I know, but there's several reasons for this. One, Cincinnati has a far superior offense than the Patriots. They have superior defense than the Patriots, superior special teams than the Patriots, and the Patriots have given up a lot of points. And most defenses give up points today, because you have to understand, Brian doesn't watch a lot of football. He watches cartoons after the Eagles game's over. So you have to understand that most games don't have 17-14 anymore. It's pretty rare these days. Most of the winning team usually scores in the 20s. So I expect like 24-27 from the Bengals and maybe 20-17 points for the Patriots. Even though they can't score.
This game is a pick'em.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, point. You can't score. You're talking. It started as a pick'em, and now it's slightly favoring the Bengalis. So
It should.
Who that? Yeah, who that?
They're better.
Who dat?
They're just better. Bill Belichick and his little scheme isn't going too well anymore.
Yeah, like Dan said.
I'll see if I can go down to Beer World on Sunday and get me some Hootapo. Watch the game.
And Dan also pointed out, this is extra analysis. This is the kind of stuff that the reason why you watch
the
this show.
microphone's not picking up at all.
I should have a sound effect
but Dan
for that,
brought
like
up
bonus
a good point
analysis.
that the Patriots the last 2 or 3 years have had terrible draft picks. That's bonus, by the way. For all the viewers.
Because they do what Brian says that no team should do. They trade out the first round all the time.
I actually have a bonus sound effect.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the crickets.
No, that was better than the crickets. That's not even worthy of the crickets. Well, I did have another contender for that as well. It was a toss-up. Advice. You can't even get good. You can't even get good. What do you call it? What do you call it? The actual advice, and now they're trying to give you bonuses.
That's right. We live on the edge, me and Dan.
That's right.
We live on the edge, baby.
There you have your combined picks for Week 5 NFL, trying to give the Iron City Yins people something to cheer about coming off their big defeat in the MLB, your Pittsburgh Steelers, and go on down to Paul Brown Stadium and drink you some cold Hootie Gold and root for those Cincinnati Bengals.
Even though they're not going to be there.
We'll now have a word from our sponsor.
You are lucky.
Welcome back, Week 5. Are you for real?
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
It makes you want to get on sweatpants and do like a.
You for real?
All right, this week's my are you for real? There was a couple of candidates to choose from. My first choice was going to be the awful officiating last week, but we touched on this for a long time last week in Brian's absence. A good half-hour segment on this. Why the hell is the NFL in London? I just think it's so stupid, and they send the worst teams possible over there.
Yeah,
the
true.
Raiders and the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
Who
true.
the hell wants to see that? You know?
Or the Patriots and the Buccaneers.
Yeah, it's like,
there's like a 30-point
well, what they do is they try to send a team that's not going to miss a home game because the fans don't give a shit in those towns anyway. Like Oakland or Tampa, where there's the threat of a blackout, or the Bills, where the people just don't care. And then they send them over there, like the Vikings are going over there later.
The product is terrible. Like the English don't want to see that shit.
I mean, they go see it, they pay money, I understand, but it's just like the novelty is worn away. It's not funny, it's not good. It's stupid.
It's stupid for the players that travel.
Players that travel. Think about the Raiders. The Raiders that travel all the way from California.
Yeah.
They travel
Like
back from
10
California.
hours, 11 hours?
They fired their coach on the way home because they had enough of him. I mean, who knows where they left him? Left him in Dusseldorf in the.
They left him at the airport.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just I've had enough of this. I mean, I was talking to Scott about this last week. The NFL will start staging games in China and Brazil and Mexico and all these other crazy countries. It's ridiculous. It has to stop now.
Yeah, it is
it's enough.
Way to take a stand.
Thank
Dan
you.
Kaiserman. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Kaiserman.
They want to play these games in London, yet there's no team in Los Angeles, which is the second largest market in the country, and it's bigger than London. I don't really get that. It's puzzling to me, and I give up. But it's enough.
I think a team should...
Well, and when Goodell expands into Liberia, nobody's going to want to play the team because they're afraid they might get Ebola.
Oh, my God. Because you have to bring up bowling. Oh, my God. Scott, don't take the show in another direction.
Yeah, the problem is Brian probably doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I know, that's what's even funnier.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the news, doesn't know. There's people
Yeah,
in Dallas
no
affected with Ebola.
Bowling.
Yo, I get all my current events from watching reruns of Cheers, man.
You got to watch Cheers.
Oh, I'm on Netflix.
Actually, that's Burton what you watch on Netflix. You can tell me.
Well, I don't have internet right now.
Well, I know that.
Since,
but you're still paying for it.
The uninformed.
That's right.
All right.
You have new nicknames now. Nicknames, you're already the unforgiven. Now you're the uninformed.
I like how you called him the Big Green Ape last week.
One of the original shows.
All right, so the Are You For Real for Week 5. There's a show on, it just started like a week or two ago. There's a show on CBS Sports. It's called We Need to Talk. It's 4 or 5 women talking about sports. And the first show that they're going to do is to talk about the Ray Rice and the whole abuse thing and domestic violence. I just think it's ridiculous. I think that women have enough channels on TV. They have Lifetime. They have Style Network. You know, they can leave all that chit-chat to those shows. Sports shows should not have, like, a View type thing. Keep the View for the fucking View. You don't need to bring it into sports. 4 women talking about sports is stupid. It's a stupid idea. Women should stay on their channels and let guys have their fucking channels.
And what Brian didn't tell you is there's actually 10 women.
Whatever.
It's a weekly show, and he actually watched it.
No, I didn't watch it.
Because he watched it right after he watches The Golden Girls and the Lifetime movie of the week, where they hang a man at the end of the show, of the movie, and the woman gets away with it because they said it ended up being his fault for whatever it is, even though she did it. Then he watched that show. He took notes. He really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he liked the old woman on the show. He thought she was particularly excellent.
Yes. Anyway, that's my Are You For Real. It show's ridiculous. It's stupid.
So all you've got is your Eagles left there in Philly. Unlike some other cities, like Baltimore and Washington, D.C. and San Francisco and Los Angeles and St. Louis. So we will now have a send-off prior to the guaranteed picks for your Philadelphia Phillies.
You ruined Brian's favorite song. How dare you?
Oh my God.
That's his favorite movie too. He cries at the end every time.
Now we will have the first guaranteed pick, Week 5 NFL, coming off a 2-0 streak. Danny D.
All right, my guaranteed pick is a familiar one. Going with the Indianapolis Colts at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Indy is favored by 3.5 points. They've absolutely murdered the last 2 teams they've played. They, as I said, they've won like the last 2 games by like 50 or 60 points combined. Baltimore does not play the same way on the road as they do at home. Joe Flacco does not play the same way on the road. Andrew Luck's played really well. He's finally hit his stride. Trent Richardson actually decided to show up last week and played decently. Their defense isn't great, but Baltimore doesn't really have a great offense anyway, so I don't think it really matters that much. They're not incompetent like the Panthers, who Baltimore played last week. So I see Indy winning this game, maybe a 10-point game. I don't really see it as a complete blowout, but they should cover the spread, especially the way Luck has been playing. He's been fantastic, and I don't really think the Ravens are going to be able to keep up with them. This is a big game for Indy. They're able to get over 500 by winning this game, especially since their start was 0-2, with a rough loss against the Broncos and a rough loss against the Eagles, both games they could have won, but did not at the end. Then they blew out Jacksonville by 1 million points, and they blew out Tennessee, who started the incompetent and idiotic Charlie Whitehurst, who absolutely blows. I mean, I would rather trust. I would trust a guy in a Grover costume from Sesame Place more than this guy. I mean, he is awful.
I forgot about
And
him.
my boy Bishop's
oh my God, he's
Bishop, what's his name? Bishop Sankey. He didn't do a whole lot. He was terrible. But anyway, the point is that Indianapolis is going to win again. I think they're going to cover again, and I hope to go 3-0. You know, keep the streak alive here with the Colts. They really have a soft schedule. Anyway, pick the Colts. Go with them. They've been good the last 2 weeks. They've covered. People can make money on that pick. So go with the Colts.
There you have your guaranteed pick. Number 1, Week 5. Guaranteed pick number 2, Week 5 from Big Brian B. coming off a 2-0 streak.
All right, Week 5, Big B. I'm going to take the New York Giants at home against Atlanta. They're -4. I think they're going to cover 4. Atlanta has 2. They lost 2 offensive linemen. They also lost a safety. The Giants played really well last week, and they have an extra couple days of rest. Eli looked really good against Washington. And like I said, I mean, Dan talked about earlier, Falcons' defense is atrocious. They gave 550 yards to the Vikings.
Especially on the road.
Yeah, and this is, again, going to be on the road. And I think the Giants' defense is actually, the last couple of weeks, been playing a lot better. They've been getting pressure on the quarterback. I'm not saying they're any Seattle Seahawks, but I think defense is going to play well enough to win, and win by, I'd say, at least 7 points. I think Giants will probably win something like 27-20, somewhere in that ballpark. So for all those reasons, go put all your money on the Giants.
But Brian, so you're seriously telling me that the Giants are going to win? Do you think they have any chance of making the playoffs this year at all?
It's only Week 5, so I'm just going by week to week. They looked strong last week. I still think the Eagles are going to win the division, so I probably just jinxed the Eagles, but I think the Eagles are going to win the division.
This team is going to the playoffs.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
The Giants are going to have a softer schedule. They finished in 3rd place last year, I believe, in the division, right? Yeah, because the Eagles finished 2nd. Eagles, Dallas, Giants, and Redskins. So they're going to have a softer schedule than the other teams. So they're going to have a shot here, you know. Have to see. Yeah, but Atlanta just stinks on the road. I mean, they've been abysmal on the road. They got blown out by Cincinnati. They gave up 41 points to a Vikings team that couldn't score if they were, giving the ball to 1 yard line every possession. The Giants should blow them out.
And like I
they
said,
probably won't, but it's.
And like I said earlier in the show, they have the 32nd ranked defense, total defense. But as Dan likes to point out, we should do a little schooling here. Dan schooled me, and I'll admit that I learned some today. But total defense is yards. So they're last in the league in giving up yards, but as Dan points out, doesn't mean they're last in points. But still, it's pretty bad when you're last in giving up yards. It's pretty bad.
They've given up over 30 points in 3 of their 4 games. They give up 34 to the Saints. They give up 33 to the Bengals.
He was just talking about yards, and now you're talking about points.
I know.
I'm just saying, I learned something. All I'm saying is I learned something new today.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, but in this case, the combination is true. That they give up 34 points to the Saints, 33 to the Bengals, and 41 to the Vikings in their first 4 games this season. I mean, that's awful.
All I'm saying, Dan was pointing out that a team could have the worst total defense but still be up there in points per game.
Yeah, I think an example really would have been the Eagles' defense last year. They were terrible in terms of yards, but they held, I think, 7 of the last 8 opponents to 20 points or less. So you have to look at it in both ways. Sometimes it's yards, but sometimes it depends how you play in the red zone, too, which it really comes down to. For a lot of these teams, it's red zone defense. Because if you get field goals, you're going to have a chance to win every game.
But basically, the Giants should be able to score pretty easily.
Yes.
I can't believe there's not a correlation to giving up yards and giving up points.
That's what Dan was
I can't believe there's no correlation there.
Oh, no, only statistically. The way they rank it statistically, it works that way. Not necessarily in what you're watching on TV. Obviously, there probably is a correlation. However, the way they rank the defense is only by yards. So it could be misleading. Like, I could say the Jaguars could be 15th in the league in offense and defense, but they could be 32nd in points given up because the quarterback may be turning the ball over and the other team gets a short field. So that, they don't need as many yards to score. So it can be misleading.
I just learned this too, Scott. I'm confused too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not confused. Yards for, yards against. I'm not confused about that. Points for, points against.
Yeah, it's different things.
What's the confusion? They're two different stats.
Yeah, well, Brian's not a good mathematician.
Agree with each other in general, I would think.
Yeah. Well, it could be. I mean, just saying, it really comes down to red zone defense a lot of the time.
No, I was telling Dan, and I'll admit my ignorance. I thought that the points for total defense, it was yards and points. And so if you were the number one total defense, it meant that you were number one in fewest points and number one in yards. I didn't know that it was two separate things. So I was trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's two separate things, but a lot of times it goes hand in hand.
Don't they crown a number one defense in the league?
They crown them? What, they get a crown at the end of the season? They have a coronation and...
They have a miscongeniality contest?
Defensive rankings, I mean...
No, I mean, I get it. The number one defense is probably going to go up less points than the number 32 defense.
If you're the best defense in the league, you're saying they're only taking into account one or the other of those stats? I wouldn't say that.
They only take into account the yards. In terms
I learned that today too, Scott.
In terms of the statistics, the way the NFL ranks its statistics, if you look up on any website of their statistics, they rank it by yards. Now you can rank it differently by yards, by points per game, by turnovers, whatever. They don't have they're not like quarterbacks. They have like that quarterback rating. They don't have a defensive rating, which takes everything into account and comes with a statistical formula to rank the best defense based on yards and points.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't go to the NFL website if you're trying to gamble. They're not really geared towards helping gamblers win.
No, they're not.
Look other places.
I'm sure there's other sites that may have a formula involved that shows you who the best defense is in terms of yards and points, and helping you cover. But it just can be misleading sometimes. That's all.
Well, I mean, even with the quarterback rating, I heard a guy say, I was listening to Sports Talk recently, and I heard a guy say, it's you got the quarterback rating, but some guys like Tampa Bay's quarterback, for example, could have a great quarterback rating, and you're like, what? They suck. He sucks. Why does he have a good quarterback rating? And I think he said, I'm pretty sure he said what you're not looking at is yards per catch, because you can look at completions and all this other bullshit, but if they're throwing they're getting a good percentage, but everything's like 5 to 10 yards. I mean, 3 yards. It says you got to look at yards per completion.
No, it's yards per attempt. That's what you look at. Yards per attempt.
Yeah, yards per attempt. That's yards. Yeah, yards per attempt.
Yeah, yards per attempt. A good quarterback's yard per attempt should be around between 7.5 and 8 per attempt. If you're any higher than that, then you're very good. But it should be somewhere around there.
That's what I'm saying, Dan. And they're saying you can be well below that and still have a good quarterback rating.
Oh yeah, sure. Because it means you're getting completions. It doesn't take that into account. Right. Yeah.
But your yards per attempt, exactly what you said. It's like the sweet spot is like 7.5, 8. And if you're above that, you're really good. And if you're below that, you're not a good quarterback. I don't care what your quarterback.
No, I mean,
I don't care.
It's a hidden number. It's one of those things.
Yep.
And that's the other thing about quarterback rating. That whole formula is kind of ridiculous anyway. I mean, a quarterback can have a great game, but it has a rating less than some other guy. It doesn't make any sense.
And I'm seeing a lot more nowadays than I used to see in the past with these shovel passes or push passes, where you just kind of push it out to a guy in front of you. I mean, wasn't it the old rules where it had to be an underhand lateral, and you couldn't do you couldn't do a forward lateral, But nowadays they're doing a lot of pushing it out, like push passes and shovel passes out to a guy.
Was this in the 40s?
Mm-mm.
No, I mean no. It was never. They never had that rule.
Oh yeah, forward lateral was. I don't know. Forward lateral was illegal. You couldn't lateral the ball forward.
Well, you can't throw the ball underhand forward, and they don't.
Well, that's forward lateral, Dan. That's what I'm talking about.
They push it out like this. It's a straight pass. It's not.
But that's what I'm saying. Now they're kind of cheating and they're doing this shovel pass or push pass because they're trying to say, well, we're not really passing, but we don't want to do a forward lateral, right? You didn't see that in the past. You either threw it or you pitched it, you lateral it backward. You didn't have all this in-between bullshit going on.
Maybe. I mean, I don't
I
know.
think he's talking about. I got a good example. That play that the Andy Reid used to run on the goal line all the time, where McNabb just flips it. That's not a real pass.
No, that's kind of just a flip pass.
That's something like that. To in the end zone to Westbrook. That's like a handoff.
Yeah. But it counts.
And you had wasn't the college teams? College teams were coming up with plays that were fumbles. You know, the old fumbleina.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, they have rules. First,
the huddle is that we fumble it into the end zone and you fall on.
Well, wait a minute. First of all, you're talking about the Fumbarooski, which is a play where the center drops the ball and everyone runs away, and then either the center or the quarterback picks it up and runs it into the end zone, which is an illegal play now for the center to touch it.
I'm talking about that college teams were purposely. I don't know about the NFL if they ever.
You're talking about they
fumbled it into the end zone.
1973.
Cover the fumble that was on purpose to begin with.
Oh yeah, 1972 or 73, I think it was. The Raiders had a play. Dave Casper caught a pass from Darryl LaMonica, I think it was, in a playoff game against the San Diego Chargers. And it was like the time was running out. He caught the ball. He was about to get tackled, so he fumbled the ball forward on purpose. Then they kept pushing the ball forward until it got into the end zone, and a guy fell on it for a touchdown. They changed the rule after that, saying any fumble in the within 20 yards of the end zone, I think with under 2 minutes left, the ball must be placed back at the spot of the fumble if recovered by the same team, unless it's recovered by the same player in the end zone. Only he can forward a fumble into the end zone for a touchdown. Because they used to cheat and do that.
That's the genius of football. We don't make it shaped like a soccer ball. So when it falls on the ground, if you think you can gain an advantage by kicking it around, you're a fool.
Well, they didn't kick it. That's still illegal.
Don't go in the direction you want it to go.
You can't kick it. I mean, that would have been a penalty automatically. You can't kick the ball like that. But they just push it with their hands. Like guys would fake fall on it and try to push it forward.
I accidentally ran by it. My foot accidentally hit it in the direction I wanted it to go.
Today it's a dead ball. If they kick it, it's automatically dead at that point.
If a foot touches it, it's dead?
If you kick it on purpose or even semi on purpose, it's dead.
It was just run through the ball and it hit my foot.
But you should watch that Dave Casper play. They all the guys were kind of falling on it, kind of pushing the ball towards the end zone, and then some guy fell on it. And then the San Diego Chicken falls down in the stands. He goes, oh, and the Chargers.
And John Madden loved every minute of it too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he loved it. He's like, oh yeah, you do what you got to do here. Oh yeah, he loved it. They cheated all the time. They'd stick them on their gloves. I forget the other rule that they cheated on. There's something else. They put stuff on their uniform. They make themselves greasy, so they couldn't cap.
It wasn't illegal back in that day, Dan.
No.
Fred Blitkoff was famous for his
but they made all these rules after the Raiders did all this stuff to stop this. You know, the only time they got screwed was on the Immaculate Reception in Pittsburgh. That should have been a dead ball. That ball went off Tatum's helmet, which at that point would have been a dead ball.
The thing I love is that here you have a wide receiver named Fred Blitkoff, and when he suited up for the game, he had a helmet and shoulder pads. That was the only pads that guy wore. He had a helmet and shoulder pads. There was nothing in his pants. He didn't have a thigh pad, knee pad, nothing.
Well, guys didn't wear it until a couple years ago. Goodell enforced a rule. They had to start wearing the shin pads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it made them faster.
Well, yeah, and then he would put the stickum down under his sock. You know, and every play he'd reach down and goop up with some more stickum.
Yeah, they made that illegal. But yeah, he did it. He was smart. I mean, why not? They're letting you get away with it. Why not do it? Guys used to cut their uniforms on the sides, that breakaway uniforms. So when guys try to attack them, their uniform just rip off. They used to do that in hockey all the time, too. Guys would cut the size of the uniforms. When they start fighting, uniform just fall off. Like Rob Ray for the Sabres would do that. His uniform just rip in half in the middle of fighting. And so you had better leverage to punch.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know why. When I was in high school, the best thing was if you were a running back, they had these prize pants, and they were pants that had a silk front on them, which slippery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were like a running back and they thought you were good, you got one of the few pairs of the actual silk pants. Like, why don't running backs do that? It's a great idea. You know, they try to grab you and you got silk pants. Your hands are falling off.
Were those signed by Teddy Roosevelt?
Mm-mm. I would do that today.
This show gets weirder and weirder.
Who the hell wears silk pants while they're playing football?
Show gets weirder.
They weren't silk pants, Dan. Just the front half of the leg of a running back's pants was silk.
And why would they grab him there?
No, because when they're diving and trying to tackle you and you're running, your hands are sliding off the pants. Don't you get it?
I get
It's
that.
silk.
But who's grabbing for his crotch?
It's the front of your leg from the thigh to the knee when they're trying to arm tackle you and they're grabbing you and your hands are sliding off because it's a silk pant.
Yeah. I mean,
why did you use that today? It's genius.
Well, some guys put Vaseline on their pants so they get.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same concept, Dan. You're trying to make guys slip off you when they're trying to grab you to tackle you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but now they check for that. They have referees checking for uniform violations for every game. They just go around.
Make your pants out of silk. Who said that?
The NFL. They make the pants and they give it to the players. That's made out of spandex. They look no silk. That would rip in half anyway. Imagine offensive linemen wearing silk pants. That'd be pretty funny.
No, it's only for running backs, and it's only the front half of the pants. That's what I'm saying. It's the part that people can slide off of.
Yeah,
they don't
everyone has to wear the same pants.
Grab you from the front, and then they slide off.
No, nobody's doing that.
I miss the good old days when we talked about Pirates.
You realize this. I mean, this was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah, I know, but the 1965 is over. They don't do that anymore.
I was 1 year old in 1965.
Well, there you go.
All right, let's go.
How was Lyndon Johnson?
All right. This show. All right, we got to end the show. Put the music on. This is getting ridiculous.
Now I got the thing is, I will now recap your Week 5 Big Pick 4 picks.
Wait a minute. You promised me a retort to the fighting from last week, fighting during football games, and you came up with nothing today.
Can you guys retort when I leave?
Was it the fighting?
Yeah, you said they don't show fighting, and Brian agreed with me. They showed the whole fight, and then you said you were going to come back with evidence that they don't show fights this week. Yet somehow you came up with nothing.
That's right. My research team actually decided not to release that footage because we're trying to get a documentary deal out now. It just was too good to release on the show, so now we've gone to the networks and we're trying to get a documentary deal on that now.
Of the NFL that they don't show fighting.
Conspiracy. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's recap.
It's Brian's bedtime.
Yeah, I gotta go. I got a hot date tonight.
Oh, and I got a ending for the show too.
Yeah.
So the recap being the Iron City Yins and the Queen City Who Days, Who to Pose, and the guarantees being your what has Indy got going on there? I used to live there. I don't even know.
They have a racetrack.
Yeah. Your Indies and your
the G-Men.
The G-Men.
Big Blue.
And I want to see if this works.
Three.